Hey, good morning. It is August. I am over here in my office. I've been here so long. I got up at 6 a.m. We're doing something. With the co-op. We decided we need to have quarterly meetings where we go over what our plans are for the upcoming quarter, for the next year, and for the next 5 years. So we can sort of plan our expenses out, what our next moves are. Since it's not just me making decisions anymore, I have to talk it through with Javon and with Jacob. So I've been putting together all kinds of spreadsheets. I'm going to put this in the video so you can see it's ridiculous. I've been looking at the land around. I'll go outside and talk because I'll put the spreadsheet in and post. I don't need to actually stay in my office. I've been looking at the land around to figure out what land purchases we might want to make over the next several years. And I sort of categorized the land into blocks based on its proximity to our current farming operations and its suitability for farming. So block 1 is basically everything here, between here and Javon's farm. And it's all wide open land. It's reasonably flat. There's some hilly bits we might need to smooth out a little bit, but it should be pretty easy to use for farming right away as is, without a lot of special processing. That is like our most desired property, and to buy all of those plots, I've put in the plot number based on the land maps that the city maintains. It would be around 1.4 million, so that's not cheap. The next one over, just right next to here, is 472,000, and I would like to just sort of keep expanding. So that's probably the one I want to buy next, and as you can see, I don't have enough money for that right now. So we'll have to wait and see when the time comes to sell more things, where we end up money-wise. The cheapest of the plots is the one closest to Javon. They get cheaper as they go closer, and that one is 256,000. And Javon might buy some of these himself, so he could actually buy that plot next to him. It doesn't have to be purchased by the co-op. But I think it probably, with his one soybean field, it'd probably take him a while to earn the money to buy that plot. So I think it'll probably be a co-op purchase. In this direction, I'm not going to drive all the way over there. It's going to take too long. On the other side of my cows, that's sort of block 2. And those are similar in terms of being reasonably flat and large and suitable for farming right away, with maybe minimal sort of smoothing for any sort of landscape stuff that may be difficult to work with. There are 3 plots off in that direction, and they're more expensive. They're pretty big areas between the road and the city walls, and that is going to be over $1 million to buy those 3 plots. The next one next to the cows immediately is let me look at the map here. It's 486,000 to buy that one, which is more expensive than the one right next to here. So again, I've identified that as block 2 because it's getting farther away from the city, and so if we're doing work there, we'll have farther to haul things to get to our productions or into the city. Then I've got block 3, which is sort of a secondary tier of things, across the street, that are sort of wide open and suitable for farming. That includes the property just directly across the way. Can you see over there from here? Let's take a look. Yeah, sort of directly across, where there's no oil rigs or anything set up. And to buy those properties in Block 3 is going to be a little over $1 million. They're generally cheaper. They're in the 300,000 range, 330 to 370, but they're smaller. And again, they're like sort of getting further away from our central operations. Then I've got Block 4, which is property that is slightly less suitable for farming. It's the one that has oil rigs on it and things like that. We could still put fields on, like, around those things. Maybe I could do, like, grass fields over there if we expand our animals more. Trying to think through what that would look like. Or maybe some smaller fields for, like, root crop vegetables, like the carrots, parsnips, red beets. Things that will fit sort of in and around the existing stuff on those plots. There's more of them, and one of them is pretty large. So to buy all those would be 1.6 million, give or take. Then we've got plots over in that direction, and sort of basically that plot that's over near the agricultural co-op and the things that are on the other side of my original yard over in that direction. That is much larger property in general, and it's wide open and well suited for farming, but it's just big, and it's going to be expensive to buy those plots. That one's going to be over 2 million to get those 3 plots that covers. And then everything from like there down the wall back toward where I've got the Flying Saucer Pizzeria set up and that like last little plot that I have. Those plots are generally cheaper in the 200,000 range, but there's one really big one that's sort of like around the agricultural co-op that's going to be over 800,000. So to buy all of those, it's going to be around 2.2 million. So in total, this is what? Close to $10 million in property to buy it all out here? This is a very long-term plan. This is way beyond 5 years. I'm just sort of thinking about what it's going to look like and how we prioritize what we purchase. That's just for the land. Then I've broke out separately the equipment that we need to purchase still. I'm not counting anything that comes up for sale used that's a good deal, or any equipment that we have that breaks down that we need to replace. I just sort of broke down into categories, things that I know we need. I know we need something to replace the McCormick tractor. Rachel got that running again, but it's getting more prone to break down, and the issues are getting bigger and more expensive, so it's just going to have to be replaced. That's going to be over 300,000 just to replace that tractor, if I have to buy it new. Then to get the rest of the equipment to do the root crop stuff that Jacob really wants us to do, for the harvester and the planter, is going to be around $200,000. And that's just for a trailed harvester that I can pull behind the tractor. That doesn't count if I were to buy like a dedicated piece of equipment. That's just too expensive. I can't think of doing that yet. If I wanted to get into potatoes, which Jacob has also thrown around as an idea, the equipment cost for that would be around $350,000. If I wanted to get into grapes, which we were thinking about maybe doing out there near the Flying Saucer Pizzeria, where it's like hillier, that might be easier to work in grapes or something because it doesn't have to be so flat, or olives even. But to get into grapes, I'd be looking at over $400,000 because the grape harvester is very expensive. And similar for olives, it would be over $300,000. Plus, some of the stuff for grapes could be reused for olives, like small tractors, sprayers, mulchers. So like there's all kinds of equipment costs. And then if I do buy new equipment to get into new types of farming out here, which I will do over time given the amount of land and the needs of you folks in the city, I have to factor in the cost for productions to process what we're growing to turn it into actual food that you all can use. So I broke down the different productions we would need based on whatever type of thing we're working with. For if we get into grapes, there would need to be a grape processing plant. And also, I would like to do cereal at that point, because then I could do like raisins and cereal. That would be great. But those two productions together would be over $200,000, around $200,000. If we were to get into potatoes, I would want to get a potato processing plant. That's $120,000. We have sort of committed to getting into the root crop vegetables at this point, and I will need some production to make use of those. There's sort of two options for that. One is a factory where I can make like canned food, and that's around $110,000, or a factory where we can make like soups and things, and that's around $135,000. Theoretically, we could do both eventually, but I think that the production on those is going to be so time intensive, we probably won't produce a large volume of them right away. I don't know. So I'm sort of breaking down all of these costs and thinking about what our next moves are going to be as a co-op, because I have to present this stuff to Jacob and Javon later today, and we have to decide what sort of thing we want to work on next, like what sort of land investment or production or equipment purchase we really want to think about. So this has gone way beyond me being an individual farmer growing stuff in my fields. Now this is a whole big thing that has to be planned and agreed on by a committee. I maybe didn't think through that part of the co-op when I agreed to form it. I really enjoyed the farming. I don't like this paperwork part so much. Speaking of farming, there's a lot to do, as usual. I should just get into a tractor and start doing it instead of talking. I'm doing too much talking and not enough doing. So I did get the slurry spreading done on that oat field in the Valtra, and I do not love the transmission. I'm bummed about that. So I probably won't use it that much. I need to harvest the sorghum this month. I need to plant canola in that field that I harvested the oats from. And I need to get those two fields across the way, over near my yard, mulched, and then slurry spread on those. So next month I can plant wheat and barley in those fields. And I also need to get some feed mixed up for the cows. They're getting low. So, lot to do. I think I'm going to get the harvester ready and get into this sorghum harvest, actually. And then maybe I'll get Jacob or else one of the helpers to take the Valtra with the mulcher over to the canola fields we harvested last month and get those mulched. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll do one thing and they're going to do something else, and it'll all be great. I will see you in a time lapse shortly. Okay, well, sorghum harvest is done. It went smoothly. It just takes a long time. That's a big field. I've got the helper over here in the mulcher because we have crop stubble from the sorghum. So he's mulching that field for me, and then we can put some slurry on it. I don't really know what I'm going to plant there next. The mill is running. We've got everything going over here. Jacob is here right now, sort of overseeing the first round of production. He got certified alongside the mill workers so that he would know how all the equipment works, and so he can keep an eye on operations and everything. I'm really happy with the job he's been doing. He is also avoiding me, which I'm less happy about. I don't feel good to know that my employee is avoiding me. I also have no idea how to talk to him about it in a way that's like non-confrontational and not gonna bring up stuff I don't really want to get into. Like, it's that whole thing. He let slip to Jenny that he had a crush on me, and then Jenny told Rachel, and then Rachel was trying to like hook us up basically. And I'm not going to do that. He's my employee. Yeah, there are a lot of reasons that would be bad. So, it's frustrating because I don't know how to bring it up without pointing out, hey, I know you have a crush on me and you don't want to talk about it, but this is making it awkward to work together. I don't like it. I need to get this trailer probably washed before I put it away, and I need to wash the header before I put it away. There's a lot of stuff to clean. Oh, and I didn't tell you, gosh, there's a lot going on. And I've buried the cedar. Alright, we'll do things one at a time. The harvester's over here because at one point off camera I didn't record everything because it was just such a big field to be harvesting, so it's going to take forever to record it all. At one point off camera I banged the auger into the trailer pretty bad. I was on a slope and I didn't think about the fact that the auger would be like pointing down more, and it did not clear the top of the trailer, and I drove up to it kind of too fast. So I'm afraid to try to fold that right now. I'm just going to leave it here like this for Rachel to check out when she gets a chance before putting it away. And she's got the little Massey Ferguson in the shop right now. I think she texted me and said she's just about wrapped up with this. So I should be able to use it a little later to do the feed mixing for the cows. It's fine. It's in good condition. It just needed an oil change. It's been a while, and a routine service. I guess I need to wash it. Maybe I'll ask her to do that when she finishes with the oil change and everything. And I need to get the header washed before I put it away. And this trailer. And then I think I'll get into a time lapse with the cedar here and get the canola going in this field here. And I won't bother showing you the mulching or the slurry spreading on that field. It's just going to be a long, repetitive process. And I was just working that field anyway. You don't want to see it over and over again. So yeah, that's what the rest of my morning is going to look like for sure. I'll see you in a time lapse once I'm seeding. And yeah, we'll see what I get up to later this afternoon. Okay. The seeding is done. And it turned out we needed to spread lime on the half of the field that had been cultivated longer ago. So if you recall, I bought one of those properties and then bought the other property and expanded that field, and lime needed to be spread on the older half of it, which is done now, and I need to get the rolling done on the canola, which is in the oat field. I need the big roller. Where's the big roller? Where did I put the big roller? Oh, there it is. So I'll do that here in the case, and then I will get into the little McCormick, no, the Massey Ferguson, that we do the work in the cow yard with, and I will go get cows fed. And meanwhile, Jacob's helper person, who he hired, his name is Kent, by the way. I asked him and he said I'm allowed to tell you. Kent is over there in the Valtra doing the slurry spreading on that field now, which is going to be a very long task over a very long period of time. It took Jacob like 3 days to do it last time, because that slurry spreader is tiny. I really need to get the bigger distributor. It's on my list of equipment to purchase. I need to make a case to the co-op about it. And then maybe we can start using that tanker right there, which is giant by comparison. Okay. I guess I'll do another time lapse while I get the rolling done. Normally I don't roll on camera, but it should be pretty fast. And oh yeah, there's Kent over there now. Then I will get into the cow work, I guess. Catch you in a bit. Well, I got busy and I totally forgot I was going to record me doing the feed mix for the cows. So I've already done 2 batches and given it to them. This will be my last one, so I'm sorry I forgot to record that for you. I know you don't get to see me feed the animals very often. Might have been interesting. Whatever. Another time. I don't have any helpers helping with the animals at the moment because Dairy Girl is doing dairy things, and I don't have any other helpers who are doing anything out here with the animals. Everybody else is helping with sort of field work or production work. So nobody is, well, Jacob sometimes, but aside from Jacob, nobody's really doing any of this. It's all me right now. I didn't really think about how, as I scaled up, there would be so many more jobs to do all the time, and I probably wouldn't have very much time to do them because I'm busy doing managey things, which is kind of awful. I really enjoy the farming things. I've been going over that spreadsheet again because I need to do that presentation in a little while, presenting the numbers to Javon and Jacob. I think I need to get a distributor for that slurry spreader. It's just taking so much time to spread slurry on all the fields, and I've got so much of it. So we're going to have to get that. I want to buy one of the properties adjacent to the yards now on either side. And I really need to get the root crop equipment because I want to get that going. I was checking the calendar, and it looks like spring is the best time to get those types of crops planted. So like the root vegetable crops, the carrots, parsnips, red beet. So my plan, assuming I can convince my fellow co-op members, is to buy one of these properties. I think by December or January at the latest, I should have enough things to sell to afford one of those properties on either side. And then we need to buy the equipment for planting the root crops and harvesting, but I don't need the harvesting equipment right away. I only need the planting stuff for spring. And I should have enough other things to sell to be able to make that happen. So I think we'll be able to get into the root crop stuff next year. So I'm excited about that. It's something new to do, and Jacob has been kind of pushing to do that, so it'll be nice to give him sort of a voice in what we're doing. And what else? The money. I mentioned to you the situation with the money. Well, I mean, you were in the video when that money got deposited in my account mysteriously, and my I've already fed these guys. My lawyer has been looking into the account that deposited the money to try to figure out who it came from, so we could figure out who was trying to bribe me and what their motive might have been. And so far we still haven't figured out basically Bupkis. We've got we know it came through a shell corporation, but we don't know anything about who. I always forget how close I have to get into their trough. No idea who controls the shell corporation, what it is related to. So, kind of drawing a blank there. And I don't know how much more time they're going to spend on that. So, that might be a dead end. We'll see. I haven't had any other weird letters or anything. So, nothing else. Oh, I think I'm getting full. Better turn that off. Okay. You are full up. Good, good, good. So, the cows are all set for now. I will put away the feed mixer, and I need to get the rest of the hay moved out of the forage wagon. I think there might be room now to put it in the hay loft, since I've made that feed mix. You know, I'm not going to make you watch me back this in, because I'm not great at that. So I always feel self-conscious when I do it on camera. So yeah, still trying to figure out where that came from, and I don't really know what our next steps are going to be if we can't figure out who the shell corporation is through. Cows are doing good. Yeah. Happy to have fresh stuff. Hungry girls. The beef cows are really coming along. They're getting pretty beefy, pretty chunky. I don't know when is the best time to sell them. I would have asked Nelson, but there's no Nelson to ask. But they're doing really well. Hey guys. So maybe in the next 2 months it'll be time to sell them. I expect... Gosh, they're hungry. I expect to have some more calves from this crew before I sell them again. But that should be before too long. So maybe over the winter I can bring in some money from selling these guys too. And the pigs are full up. I cannot have any more pigs in my enclosure. So I'm going to have to start selling those off soon too. They're doing really well also. I'm not going to go all the way over there and show you. They just look like pigs. Yeah, everybody's doing really well, animal-wise. It's just a lot of work to take care of all of them. And the greenhouses, and running stuff around between the productions. And now I've got the flour mill going, the grain mill, to make flour, which is great. But then I'm going to have to start hauling that to the bakery. It just... I think I underestimated the challenges of all the logistics involved in farming when you get to a certain scale. I wasn't really prepared for that. That is my bad. I guess that's everything for this month. Kent is spreading slurry on those fields across the way, so they should be ready to turn around next month. And I can get some wheat and barley in. And then the month after will be time to do harvest on the soybeans and also the sunflowers and the sugar beets. That's going to be busy. And I need to get another cut off this grass field before winter, I think, to get silage going. But that pit is not empty. And this other pit I haven't even opened. So I don't know. If I do get another cut of grass off, maybe I could sell this pit full of silage to Ravenwood? That would bring in some money. That would help with the buying stuff. Or maybe I could just skip trying to get another cut off this year, since that would have to happen in October and I'm going to be so busy. Oh, decisions. Always everything to figure out. I think I'll just leave it there and catch you next time. Happy fall. Bye-bye.